everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark. Today I wanted to talk about how the Q1 for 2022 has gone for me as a part-time reseller. And I wanted to start this off by kind of explaining my situation, just so it kind of gives you a background on how much I'm sharing and what I'm doing actively every day on Poshmark. And because I know everyone's different and a lot of people can sell more than I can, but this is just my point of view and like how much I have been able to sell and what has happened for me. So like I said, I am a part-time reseller. I do all my sharing on my own, which I share probably upwards of 20 times a day in my entire closet. I do this on the side of a full-time job, so I try to spend as much time as I can sharing and stuff, but obviously there's only so much I could do and it's very time consuming to share on my own. But the only reason I'm doing that is because I don't feel like I'm making enough money to cover the cost of buying a VA or an assistant, so that is why I share on my own right now. I am listing about 1 to 3 items a day. I was only listing about 1 item a day from January to about March, and then from March to now I have started to list like 2 to 3 items a day. So maybe that's also why sales were a little bit different in the beginning of the year than they were now, but that is something I will also get into. So I was sharing and I was listing like 1 item a day, and I was, having some sales come in. Now, last year, a year ago, I was making a lot of sales, and I was actually kind of like shocked because it was like my first year that like I was really doing this full time and I had really gotten a lot of inventory. And so my sales were like really good for me. And I think around January, February, and March of last year were like my highest months. And then April actually was like really, really high for me. And then it kind of just went downhill when the summer hit. But the beginning of the year, I was making upwards of like $1,000 a month reselling. And this year was very different. And it was different for many reasons, I think. But I think something that really hurt me was just listing 1 item a day or getting off of my routine. I actually moved back in January, so like that threw me off for a couple weeks. I was trying to get everything situated, and so I think I wasn't sharing as much and I wasn't listing as much as I would have liked to because I didn't have a lot of inventory. And so I think that really affected things, and I wasn't making as many sales as I was used to. I would get like 1 sale every couple of days, or I'd go like an entire week without a sale, and like that was unheard of for me, but that was like the reality. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Why aren't the sales coming in? So January of this year, I made about $500 in reselling. And then in February, it hit probably an all-time low for me since I really started picking this up. And I made about 200, maybe a little bit less after the fees and stuff. And then in March, I made close to like 250. So it wasn't much better. So I think a lot of things actually happened and went wrong, but I think a lot of changes I have made since then in April this month have really made a big difference in my sales. And so I kind of wanted to discuss those with you guys, just to like show you things that I think are really helping me get more sales, because yes, my sales have definitely picked up since February and March. Actually, so far in April, I've made more than February and March combined. So things have definitely picked up, but I will discuss April in Q2, and I do that in the middle of the summer. But things that I have changed looking back at Q1, I'm definitely listing more each day. I try to list 2 to 3 items a day. Now I would love to list more if I had more to list, but I run out of inventory very quickly because I don't have like a ton of inventory on hand. And so listing more every day would really help. Getting more inventory in really, really does help. The other thing that I started doing a lot more recently is just relisting old items. I'm trying to get old items cleared out, and I've actually been selling a lot of items that I sourced a year and a half ago, and it's because I'm relisting them and I'm getting fresh eyes on them, and I'm making new listings for them by making new pictures and everything like that. So I think that really does help, and I've noticed a lot of sales in April of this year have been because of relisting things. So that really does help. The next thing that really helps is getting a wide variety of brands. I've noticed that I started getting a wide variety of brands because I actually bought a mystery box, which are in my last couple of videos. Click here if you haven't seen those. But I kind of started doing, I started ordering mystery boxes, and so I got a lot of new denim and a lot of new brands in designer brands and everything else. And so that's really helping bring in sales because it's new brands to my closet, so it's going to bring in fresh eyes. And so bringing in new brands, but also just new styles and new sizes, that also really helps. If you're not limited on like a specific size or a specific brand and specific styles, it really helps you expand and have a wider customer base. So I think these changes have really helped. And I think also just has to do with like the beginning of the year, people aren't really buying as much because they just had the holidays. They were buying what they want for themselves or for other people. So I don't think it was like as big for people to buy stuff back then. So I think that also really affected things in the beginning of the year, but now people are kind of over that and they're starting to buy things for themselves again and things are starting to pick up. So I think Q1 was probably the worst couple of months that I've had in a very long time reselling, and to say it was discouraging is an understatement because there were many days where I wanted to reconsider being a reseller because I was just like, I don't know if this is for me because I'm not making any sales anymore. And I was doing everything that I could to help the business, but I wasn't making a lot of sales. So it was very discouraging. But as I continued and time went on, things got better. And yeah, I felt like things were really bad at one point, and I felt like things were never gonna get better. I just kept going. And so that is like one thing I want to tell every reseller out there is just keep going when things are difficult because things will pick up. And I wanted to be very transparent in this video because a lot of the times it's easy to compare yourself to other resellers out there and say, well, I'm not doing well because this other reseller is, you know, making a lot more money than I am. But you're doing the best that you can for your business. And for someone like me who is a part-time reseller that does this on the side of a full-time job, I don't have a lot of time to sit here and go sourcing every day or get a lot of listings listed or, you know, share all day, and I don't have the extra money to spend on a VA to share for me. So I'm doing all these things manually and it's very time consuming, and I don't want to burn myself out because I work so much already during the day and then I do this at night. And so it's a lot, and it's not easy to do all this on the side of a full-time job. So if there are other resellers out there that do this part-time and you find yourself struggling and you find yourself not having the time to do everything, that is normal and you are not alone, and we're all going through this together. So don't compare yourself to other resellers out there. If you see them making like thousands of dollars and you're like, well, I only made like $100 this month, so great. You're doing great, and you're going to continue to succeed and you're going to go forward. Just keep going and just keep pushing, and things will turn out for you, and there will be a brighter day ahead. And that is April for me so far. And it's like crazy how things have changed just from one month to the next month. Like April is literally blowing all the other months out of the park, and so I'm very excited to see what Q2 holds for me going forward. And hopefully it continues to stay like April is. But let me know down below how Q1 was for you as a reseller, if things were good, if things were not good, what brands that you picked up and what brands like brought you the most money. And yeah, let me know your experience, and yeah, stay tuned for a Q2 that I'll probably do in a couple months, and subscribe if you haven't already. So stick around for next week's video, and until then, I'll see you next time.